It is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the short line Buick and GMC red corner. Please welcome to the cage, Nermin Kozic.
Well, as I said, we have a lot of the lighter weights on this card, but the second fight up, we get the heavyweights, the big boys thrown, which means we're gonna have some power.
Up and down the weight scale we go, yes sir.
Nermin Kozic.
Factory X representative.
Yeah, Factory X has been on the cards as of late. You know, it's good to see them back in the house. I mean, obviously one of the better gyms in Colorado. We're so blessed to have so many great gyms, and to get Factory X back involved here. They've got fighters pretty much in every level going up and down the different promotions.
Love seeing them on the local level, because who knows, one of these days you're going to be checking them out, LFA, and then on to the UFC.
And as we've talked about, you've seen how many over the 11 years you've been calling fights, JR. We just saw Archie Colgan make his LFA debut last week.
Yep.
So the more fighters you see, Dustin Jacoby fought not too long ago, so you know, you see these fighters come up, and a lot of times you see them here at Sparta Combat League as they get ready to kind of elevate themselves and get good regional fights in.
Absolutely, and you know, so much fun to watch these guys up close, see them in the parking lots, get to know them a little bit, talk to them cage side, and then see them out of state on the bigger shows and representing for us. It's just so much fun.
Kozic is put together, that's for sure.
And his opponent, fighting out of the Fowler Chevrolet blue corner, please welcome to the cage, Gabe Wishon.
Gabe Wishon is his opponent. He watched a little Black Sabbath for walk-in music, JR. A little flashback to the 80s. This bout is brought to you by Fowler Chevrolet in Broomfield. And again, the heavyweights taking the center stage here in this second fight.
The proverbial testing of the cage.
You take a look at, I talked about Nermin Kozic being put together, certainly is. You know, the key is here with these heavyweights, you know, can they go a good strong 3 rounds? Will it last 3 rounds? You got to train for it. Here's the tail of the tape. A little bit of a 6-year age gap there, as Gabe Wishon is 31 years old to the younger fighter, Nermin, who's 25.
And Nermin Kozic, he comes in the taller at 6'4". Once you're over that 6 foot mark, doesn't make whole lots of difference.
It's all tall to me.
Yeah, both of them, of course, heavyweight. Debut for Mr. Kozic versus Wishon's experience, but at 1 and 2 for Mr. Wishon.
Yeah, Wishon comes in, backgrounds in wrestling. You take a look at Kozic, a striker. He looks like a striker. It'll be interesting to see his first time out, what it'll be like.
Ladies and gentlemen, this heavyweight MMA bout is brought to you by Fowler Chevrolet. Let's meet our fighters. First, fighting out of the short line Buick and GMC red corner, from Englewood, Colorado, representing Factory X, Nermin Kozic. And his opponent, fighting out of the Fowler Chevrolet blue corner, from Seattle, Washington, representing Ivan Salivary MMA, Gabe Wishon.
Got some out-of-state fighters, a lot of California fighters as well.
Fair fight. If you have any questions, here's the time to say it. Any questions on the blue? Red? All right, touch them up with Spain.
No questions, JR. It's amazing how that happens. If there's any questions, fire them to me now, boys.
If a train leaves Philadelphia traveling east at 30 miles an hour.
Exactly. No math questions. Don't do any math. I can count up to 3 rounds, 5 rounds professionally. That's about it. All right, here we go. Whoa, the wrestler comes out big time with an overhand right and misses.
Wow, talk about pressing the action forward is Wishon. Move along, but Kozic lands the first solid strike. And with Factory X, we know Wishon just in a room full of killers every day, so he's going to be prepared for this.
You know, JR, I think a good thing for Wishon to do when you fight a fighter that hasn't been in the cage, at least for a fight he's been in the gym, go at him right away and see what he has.
Absolutely, I think it's a wise game plan of Wishon.
Wishon's now absorbing a leg kick, so Kozic right now seems to have a game plan. Once he's had a little bit of the butterflies out, go to that lower level and start hitting the legs.
As a heavyweight, you know you've got power in your kicks. Leg is one of the easiest places to target one of the highest percentage shots that you can get, so you might as well go after it.
He's hit there 5 or 6 times, that has Kozic. Wishon returns the favor right there, so both fighters kind of feeling each other out. Overhand left, kind of left jab there by Kozic.
Yeah, Kozic definitely, we see he has a game plan working that leg kick. Like you said, 5 or 6 shots already going after it, and Wishon, his game plan, just trying to pressure forward.
Both fighters very square, facing each other. Similar ways to approach it. Be interesting to see if Kozic can get Wishon to drop those hands a little bit by working downstairs.
Yeah, Wishon reacted to that last leg kick a little bit. He took the shot well, but then picked his leg up like it was a little bit gingerly, you know, and goes for the shoot, and able to defend was Kozic.
Kozic then comes back with a left hand right there, so Wishon's tasted that a bit. He's rushing on it, a little bit bull-like rushing in.
Yeah, as Wishon's moving forward, he's pushing both hands out in front of him. That's a great opportunity for Kozic to come right over the top.
Just hit with a combination.
Wishon needs to be very careful of coming forward with both hands like that. But Wishon implementing his game plan now, getting the fight to the ground where he wanted it.
Yeah, that was a good point. Totally agree with you how he's coming forward with those 2 hands. And right now, Wishon, the bigger man, has got position.
Half mount for Wishon, listed himself as a wrestler, been trying for the takedowns, has this fight where he wants it. Knee on belly / chest here for Wishon. Good position for our Ivan Salaberry MMA fighter.
And let's see what Kozic can do with this position, what he's learned, because he's been on, I'm sure, in this position in the gym, and what have they taught him? Because right now you got a bigger man, and with somebody laying on you like that, it affects your breathing.
10-second clacker. I think Kozic's probably just going to try to tie him up, make sure he doesn't end up on the receiving end of any hard shots, and then come out second round and reset.
Yeah, and I think he did a good job there limiting the damage, but you got to wonder there. It looked like to me that Kozic was winning the round with those lower leg kicks, but a late takedown in the round and able to kind of get, you know, half mount, get into full a little bit. You kind of wonder where the judges' heads are at on this one.
Yeah, fairly even round. About, it was about 2/3 of Kozic having damage with the leg kicks. You can see it, but then Wishon with the dominant position did get a few strikes in controlled position. So I'd say probably Kozic took the round just because he had a little more damage.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, very close round. Now the second round comes. You've got your first round underneath your belt, so you survived that 3 minutes. It's kind of a crash course. What did you learn there? What can you do this next round?
And how is it different than being in the gym?
Absolutely.
Wishon, he already knows that. He's been in the cage before. Plus, as a wrestler, he's been walked out onto the mat hundreds of times. You know, Kozic, we don't know if he has a wrestling background. If this is his first time stepping into competition like this, see what he learned in round 1.
Kozic's got that reach advantage. Let's see if he uses it. Had a couple nice shots and strikes midway through that opening round. Here we go. Round 2 is upon us.
Wishon trying to affect his leg kick game now. Says, hey, I tasted a bit of what you had. Anything you can do, I can do better.
And Wishon's got to get a little closer, and that's where Kozic can really use that jab. You saw him throw it out there. You kind of measure the distance of where he's at, so Wishon has got to be careful with that. There it is again.
Kozic, a little bit more than, for my taste, spends some time waiting. Kind of waiting for his opponents to throw something so he can counter. He's done a good job of keeping himself safe, but he's not really piling up a lot of points with it.
Yeah, absolutely, JR. And I think what happens with that, too, is you're limited to throwing one strike instead of putting up combinations to see if you can get something rolling by waiting and counter-punching. Nice right there.
One of the most tiring things to do in MMA is to take shots, have them stuffed and defended, and then have to get back up and try to reset for the shoot. We got a little bit of blood coming out of the left eye of Wishon. But back to the tiring effect of the shots, we'll see how that plays out if Wishon's able to keep, we know he wants it on the ground, can he keep making those shots?
Well, and again, Kozic, we talked about what he's doing by waiting. That one shot, he didn't follow it up with anything. He had a nice solid shot here. Follow that back up.
Now Kozic's starting to get his offense on point a little bit. Knows the shot's coming, has defended it well. I think he's probably seeing that his opponent's a little bit tired, just a little bit slower. And let's see if Kozic's able to take advantage.
Yeah, nice left hand as well. Tried to catch that kick as well. So Kozic now kind of picking his spots. There's that left hand again. It comes across with the short left. Like to see a combination start coming.
Wishon taking some deep breaths, but like a wrestler, he embraces the grind, keeps after it, keeps pressuring forward, and stays committed to this takedown. Look how it's paying off for him.
Yeah, Kozic tried to fight that off, did a good job staying on his feet initially. Now he's back up to the cage and does a good job of not allowing that takedown to take a lot of toll if he could break away here. Hands are still clasped.
Gotta let go of the cage there, does Kozic.
Yep.
Referee Eric Hines trying to smack his hand off the cage. Good job by Wishon of staying with this takedown. He's probably about a minute 15 seconds into trying to secure this position, and he just has not quit with it. Good job.
Again, another similar round where you see Kozic trying to score early on, and then you see the wrestler coming back and Wishon coming back, and now he's in full mount in a dangerous position right now for Kozic.
And Wishon looking to set up the armbar here. See if Kozic pushes up with that right arm.
Kozic trying to roll into it. He's limited the damage so far. No clean shots have been taken so far. He's tying those hands up.
Good job by Kozic keeping himself safe while being mounted, but at the end of the round again, it's Wishon controlling the action.
Which is, you're going back and forth on how this is going to be scored. And it's the toughest thing because you see a fighter that, again, had 2/3 of the round, but then the wrestler comes back, gets full mount, gets a couple shots in. You know, if you're either one of these fighters, they both need this round.
Yeah, if Wishon's able to secure position again, he needs to really unload with his striking. Doesn't need to wait, doesn't need to even necessarily go for shots that are gonna try to end the fight immediately. He just has to get busy with the striking from top in order to secure a round.
And for Nermin Kozic, what I like to see from him, once you throw that jab up there, follow it up so that not only he only sees, Wishon sees one shot coming, sees that one shot coming, then he can shoot. Mix that up, throw multiple shots, see if you can catch him with something.
Corner, Wishon did a good job taking care of the cut, and looks like they got the bleeding stopped, cleaned up. I believe it's underneath the left eye, so unless he's on the ground on his back, doesn't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, if you're going to get a cut, it's a good spot for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's see what Kozic does here. This fight is close. I don't think either fighter can wait. Let's see some fireworks here. Low leg kick by Wishon as he starts things off. He's starting to breathe a little bit. A big overhand right offered by Kozic.
Yeah, Kozic targeting that eye, like waving a red flag in front of a bull. But again, Kozic waiting for Wishon to do something. And Wishon does. Kozic able to control position here. But Wishon's not finished on this shot. He's still got hands around the legs. Let's see if he can go for possibly switch off to an Iranian lift here and get Kozic dumped over onto his back.
Yeah, Kozic now, without Wishon having to grab some of the legs, he has an opportunity to pivot around here, maybe too tired, or push away and get back to the feet.
Yeah, Wishon spent a little bit of time with his knees splayed out behind him. He's in a way better position with his knees up underneath him now. But Kozic on top in the higher position, controlling what's happening here.
Yeah, right now he's just controlling the pace of where this fight is at. Surprised he's keeping it on the ground because that has not been his strong point for this fight. He's done most of his damage on his feet, but he's getting some time now in control. But really neither fighter doing much.
Agreed. If you're Kozic and if you're Kozic's corner, you're saying, hey, you know, let's not hang out here too long. But as it turns out, the referee takes care of that anyway for lack of action.
Yep, exactly. That's a good, I thought that was a great move by the official, the referee, to step in and put them both on their feet, JR. And right now, Wishon looks a little aghast. If you're Kozic, mount that attack.
Yeah, it's there's really no time left to wait. If you're going to do it, you got to do it now. And wow, great scramble by Kozic. Nice footwork on that.
Front snap kick by Kozic into the solar plexus. He turns away. Oh yeah, you got to unload with that. He thought about it, and then he delayed.
There it is.
Big
Oh,
right.
that was a knockout.
Lower
Wow.
mandible.
What a right hand by by Kozic. Wishon brought his head up to try to reset for the shoot. Kozic, as opposed to backing out, which he had done every single time so far, he changed his direction, stepped in, lands the right hand, and late in the third round, the Factory X fighter scores the knockout.
Funny thing about that was, JR, about 15 seconds prior to that, he had that same shot And I don't know if it was just something he hadn't done before. He backed up off it, whether he thought it was illegal or this isn't a knee. You can go ahead and punch. He backed away from it the second time he took the opportunity.
Definitely proper selection of strikes there. Went into his toolbox and grabbed the right tool, no doubt about that.
And again, that ends the fight, and it was going to be a close fight because you don't know how those rounds were scored. I would almost like to have seen a judge's scorecard to see where we were.
Agreed.
But listen, anytime you have a debut fight and you get a finish, beers are on the fellas, right?
Yes, indeed.
Again, that fight sponsored by Fowler Chevrolet. Glad to be up here in Wyoming for Wyoming 6. We've got Wyoming 7 coming up on May 1st, but tonight, that was the second of 11 fights on this exciting card, culminating in a pro fight in the main event between Gino Shevdov and Dylan King.
And Wishon, good to see up on his stool. He was a little bit wobbly getting there, still trying to get his faculties about him. Doctor's in taking a look at things, and actually the doctor stepped away. It's just the corner man tending to him now, so we know Wishon's okay if the doc has averted his attention.
I'll tell you what, if you take a look at it, we're waiting for the fighters. There is a ton of Sparta merchandise that you can get on board and buy and get 15% by ordering Sparta combat gear. The code is March when you shop for Sparta gear at www.spartase.com. There's a sweet black and white hoodie they got. I've already put Jeff says he has it for me.
Nice.
Now, usually then I hear that they're sold out. That black and white Sparta hoodie.
Right now,
yeah, isn't that sweet?
It's a good looking piece. I'll be sporting one of those.
There you see the QR code. Point that, it'll take you right to the Sparta Combat.
And here's Big Mo going to give us the official word.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Hines calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 55 seconds of the third and final round. Declaring your winner by knockout, Nermin Kozic.
Nermin Kozic with the knockout. He gets it in his first professional fight. Fella's taking the obligatory photos. That's always one you want to keep in the scrapbook, but he'll have plenty to learn from in this fight. I thought he stayed very square. Let's see what
Ladies
Big Mo
and
has to
gentlemen,
say.
I'm joined by our winner, Nermin Kozic. First and foremost, Nermin, great fight. How does it feel?
It feels great, man. This was my first MMA fight, and I'm just glad I got it over with.
So with your first MMA fight, you got some great support here tonight. Anything you wanted to say to the people that came out for you?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for all the fans that came out. Thank you to all my Factory X coaches, teammates. It's the best team in the world, and I'm glad to be training with them every single day.
So Nermin, one quick question for you. What's next?
I'll fight anybody. I don't think people still understand how dangerous I am.
I agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Mr. Nermin Kozic.